This is the Fishin' Hole, the Andy Griffith podcast. Everything Andy Griffith, every season, every episode, every season. I'm Tyler. This is my buddy Jacob.
Jacob.
Howdy.
Howdy.
We just watched the third episode of Andy Griffith. I forgot what it was called.
Guitar Man or something like that.
Yeah, it was awful.
Terrible. First episode of Andy Griffith.
I know we're 3 episodes in, but if my memory serves me right, it was disappointing.
It was.
It started out strong. Started off with this Jim, was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of his last name.
Halpert.
Jim Halpert. You got a good memory. We did just watch it.
No, that's the guy from The Office.
Oh. Well, don't I just feel dumb? Anyways, Jim Halpert.
Jim Halpert.
Jim help him. He was playing his guitar. Mm-hmm. His guitar guy. When they were zooming in on him at the beginning of the episode, it almost looked like he was like a great value Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
And they even make fun of Elvis in this episode at one point.
Do they?
Yeah, because when they're in the cell, and we'll get to that.
No, Jailhouse Rock.
We'll get that. We don't want to.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Except for
the whole episode.
Yeah.
The whole season. So they zoom in on this fella playing his guitar in front of a funeral home. And he's playing. Everyone's watching him. He's playing really. And he's really talented. So talented that it's one guy, and you hear about 2 or 3 guitars playing with him.
Yeah.
And it zooms in on him playing guitar, and the funeral home owner. He's getting. Oh, buddy, he's mad.
Fuming.
He's mad. How dare this fella be happy?
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you work in a funeral home, it might be hard to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
That's for a different episode, different podcast.
Yeah.
But he shows up. He's playing his guitar. Funeral home director Andy walks up. He's got a big old grin on his face. Funeral home guy comes over. He goes, "Andy, you gotta arrest this guy." And Andy goes, "Well, now, I don't wanna."
Verbatim.
Yeah, pretty much. And the guy goes, "He's disturbing the peace." Andy goes, "Well, he's in the middle of the chorus. At least let him finish," which is very Andy Griffith.
Very on brand.
I love Andy Griffith. I love Andy Taylor. I love him as a sheriff. I don't think that he does everything by the books, which is his charm. I think he would get in a lot of trouble though.
Yep.
Very insightful, Jacob.
Anytime.
Yep. Throw me off. So he finishes playing. Andy goes up and he tells everyone, "Now, we're disturbing Mr. Dead Guy here, and we want everyone to just go on." And then he goes up to Jim Halpert. Is that his name?
No.
And he says, "Well, that was pretty good, but I gotta arrest you now." And he arrests him after he told the funeral guy. But so he goes into jail, and then it shows him. No, while they're walking, that's when Andy says, "You picked a mighty fine day to be arrested. Aunt B's making
chicken dumplings for supper."
Yeah, for supper. Big. You gotta make sure you make that. Not dinner.
No.
It's supper time, buddy.
Kind of a heavy food for supper time, in my personal opinion, but
You think so?
I think chicken dumplings like a little heavy.
Yeah, but whenever I think of like a supper, I always think that's the big meal of the day. Like breakfast, you can get away with grits or oatmeal. For lunch, you have a hamburger or turkey sandwich, something like that, something bologna sandwich.
Fried bologna and egg sandwich.
Nice bologna sandwich.
Nice bologna sandwich.
But for dinner, oh boy, that's when you have the meat and taters.
The meat and taters.
I mean, you don't, Mamaw don't say, "Hey, now come on home. We're having white bread and jelly for dinner or supper." She say, "Well, we got fried taters and pork chops, homemade gravy." That's a supper. You gotta have something heavy for supper, Jacob.
Supper and dinner ain't the same thing.
Are you serious right now? I know they're not the same thing because supper is superior to dinner.
Is it?
Are you looking it up?
Yep. In Saskatchewan and much of Atlantic Canada, supper means the main meal of the day, usually served in the late afternoon, while dinner is served around noon.
Yeah, but this ain't Canada. Dinner is at night time.
In most parts of the United States and Canada today, supper and dinner are considered synonyms, but they weren't. Hang on. Origin. Depending on where you are, it may mean the midday meal or the evening meal. I don't care about the origin. But it always refers to the main meal of the day. The word dinner comes from the vulgar Latin word big, meaning to break one's fast. Supper, on the other hand, is associated with the evening. Anglican, bless, O Father, thy gifts to our use and us to thy service for Christ's sake. Amen. Lutheran, the common table prayer before eating. Come, Lord Jesus, be our guest, and let thy these gifts to us be blessed.
Are you proud of yourself?
What do you mean?
It told you they're synonyms.
Yeah, and then it told me the prayer you're supposed to say before you eat supper.
Chicken and dumplings is not too heavy for supper.
The words have shifted in meaning as dining habits have changed.
I don't care about the history of it.
You have to care about the history of it because this show was like 40 years ago.
It ain't 40 years ago, buddy.
It's in black and white.
It was in the 60s.
What year do you think it is?
Honey.
What year is it?
It's 2020.
2020, so 80 years ago? 60 plus 60 years ago.
Andy Griffith show was 80 years ago.
60 years ago. 60 plus 60 is 120. You said it was made in the 60s.
Where'd 120 come from? Where'd the other 60 come from, buddy?
1960.
Okay.
Plus 60 years is 2020. It's 60 years old.
Why'd you say 60 plus 60?
Because 1960. 60 plus 60 is 120.
Oh.
960 plus...
Oh, I see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. 60 years ago, it wouldn't matter. Supper is definitely at night time.
No, it's different.
So Aunt B makes chicken and dumplings for supper. And, while she's bringing it in, Andy and Jim Halbert, they're playing guitars together. And Andy's singing and Barney comes in. And he goes, "Sing it, Barney." And something that blows my mind, which if you're new to Andy Griffith, you might not know this, but it is canon. Barney is not good at singing. He is not a vocalist. Mm-hmm. But any time that he's not singing for comedic effect, he's able to harmonize and carry a tune.
Yeah. And you can watch Don Knotts sing outside of the show, and he's a decent vocalist.
You know who's really good at singing?
Who?
Jim Nabors.
Is he?
Oh, buddy. I think that's how they got started together was they saw him singing or something like that. But Jim Nabors, he was a singer. Oh, he had a voice on him.
And a hell of a Marine.
Oh, God. Did you watch that show, Eddie?
A little bit of it.
I remember a couple episodes. The main episode I remember is Goober. You remember that episode? Goober showed up and started messing with everything. And they said, "What's your name?" He said, "Pyle." And so they started pinning everything that he was doing. They'd pin it on Gomer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Barney starts singing with him. Aunt B comes. She's smiling. She's grinning ear to ear. And Andy starts talking to him, and he goes, "Why don't you, when are you gonna do something with your life? When you gonna take this singing thing seriously?" And he goes, "Well, I ain't ready for it, Andy." And he's just real insecure about himself. He was talented. He made his guitar sound like there was about 3 of them playing at the same time, and it sounded like electric too. And he's playing acoustic guitar, but so that happens. He gets out of jail and. Was the next part they were just walking around outside, and is that when the car pulled up? Or did something happen in between that?
They were, Andy and Barney were outside.
And this car pulled up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't remember what was on the side of it. It was the band name. And the guys got out and they were rude. Boy, were they rude. Probably Yankees. Sounded like Yankees the way they were talking
too.
Yeah. And they went to the local diner and they were just being nasty fellas, but Andy thought, they might need security or something with, help with parking and everything if they're playing a show here. So they go in and the guys just keep being rude as can be. And Andy goes, well, we got somebody here in Mayberry who can pick and grin. And the guy goes, I'm not interested. And so Barney gets mad as can be.
Fuming.
Barney gets mad. He goes, he's a mean man when he gets wild up. But
it takes a lot to bring the bear out in him.
Gosh. So they go outside and they get to talking, and they're driving like a big car. They haul their instruments and everything in it. And Andy starts looking at the parking. He goes, well, this says 1 hour parking. And he says, looks like this is taking up 2 spots. Barney, what's that mean? He goes, that means 30 minutes per parking spot.
30 minutes for each end.
And so they finally arrest the guys pretty much, and they take them in brutally. And then they arrest Jim Halbert. And
you gotta stop calling him that.
Why?
Because that's not right.
Are you sure?
The bit's gone on far longer than it should have.
I'll be honest, I forgot that that's not his name. And so they get him in. Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Looks like you hit your elbow on that.
No.
On that outdoor table. It's upside down.
You ain't kidding.
What you got a table in here for? I'll be outside.
No, well,
set it up.
I set the couch on it.
Yeah, you ain't lying. So they get Jim in there. They arrest Jim for disturbing the peace and question him about disturbing the peace, and then he resists arrest, which is just one of Andy's little tricks.
He just slid out.
Then Andy said, and then he's trying to get Andy to play guitar for him, and he goes, "I ain't playing for these guys. We're gonna sell them. Have to listen to me." And the Yankee who has the mouth on him, he said, "Well, I ain't gonna listen to him." So Andy goes, "Well, alrighty then." And he takes the guitar and he goes, "I'll play." And when he's like kind of fake playing it, he's detuning the strings. And it just sounds like trash. And he looks at Jim and he goes, "Well, you ought to just tune it for me." He said, "I ain't playing it." And he said, "You ain't got to play it. Just tune it up for me. I'll play it." So when he grabs it, he starts tuning it. The Yankees, who are in jail at the moment, they start laughing at him, making fun of him. And they go, "Oh, yeah, keep it up. Keep playing like that. Oh, that sounds good. He found the key of S." Mm-hmm. Which, even if you're not a music guy, you ought to know. S ain't one of the keys you can play in.
Nope. Possibly David's secret chord, but we ain't figured that out yet.
That's I don't know what I'm going for, but yeah, that's one of them. And so he hands him the guitar and he starts tuning it, and it sounds awful, but he's trying to get it up. The guys are making fun of him. Next thing he's just wow, wow, starts playing. That's what the guitar sound like. Mm-hmm. Guitar sound. Wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow. You hear another?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good.
I don't know. I've been practicing it. And he starts playing. Oh boy, can he play! He is playing like there's no tomorrow. He was strumming. He was picking. Oh, buddy. He got talent.
He does.
And
the guy guitars at once, got his own accompaniment.
Yeah, well, and the next thing you know, the drummer of the band had his drumsticks, which I would think would be considered a weapon, been taken away from him. He starts giving to keep him keep him in rhythm, and everyone's kind of just grooving to it. And then next thing you know, you hear a trumpet. A guy that had his trumpet in the jail cell, and no one batted an eye over that. I feel like that could also be a weapon. And the next thing you know, a guy pulls out a trombone. Starts playing the trombone. Guess what happens next? The guy has a clarinet. 3 of the guys are playing their instruments with Jim, who's playing guitar. And what's the main big mouth guy doing? He's snapping his fingers. He's not singing. He's not playing an instrument. He's snapping his fingers. Barney's directing the band. He's conducting them. What's the big mouth guy doing? He's snapping. So he's snapping his fingers, not really adding anything to the group. The last note they hit, the big note at the end, you hear like a kick drum, a cymbal, some toms, electric. You hear like a full band hit that last note. There was 4 guys. The guy on drums was beating the metal bars on the cell. Made no sense, but it sounded great.
It did sound good.
Oh God, it sounded great. But it just didn't make sense. And then finally, like that, they were like, "Oh, we like him now. Thank you, Andy Taylor, for doing this." And they were all friends. And Andy just opens the jail cell, lets them all out. He charged them, and they had to stay 24 hours. And Jim just got charged for resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even go in the cell.
Well, you also got to understand that Mayberry doesn't have a judge.
No, Andy's the judge.
Andy is justice of the peace, sheriff, everything. So he's got a little pool there.
Is that legal?
He can reduce sentences. I guess. Who's going to say no?
I guess. Mount Pilot.
I don't think they're going to come all the way down there for those guys.
So Mount Pilot's fictional, right?
I think so.
There's a place in... Where is it? There's a place in South Carolina.
That's the wrong Carolina.
Mount something. What am I thinking? Mount Pleasant. I'm thinking Mount Pleasant. I always thought Mount Pilot was Mount Pleasant. Mm-hmm. But I just thought they were the same exact place. I thought the place in South Carolina was Mount Pilot. So I always thought, oh gosh, that's real cool. You can go to Mount Pilot. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. Hey, you learned something new. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with being wrong. Just gotta keep trying. I don't know why I brought that up. Just wanted to have something to talk about, I reckon. But so finally, they get Jim to go out with them, and very anticlimactic.
Yeah, not much going on there.
It was not a good episode.
No, Andy did some haggling for him a little bit. Tried to, but Jim just ruined the whole thing. Really. Said he's gonna pay him $100 a week, which back in to me,
that's good.
Was probably a pretty good setup, but Andy wouldn't have that. That's chump change.
Well, I'd say
for
that
a guitar of that caliber.
Yeah, and I'd say that they probably paid for his lodging,
probably,
and everything. I mean, it just wasn't. I don't know.
Just not a lot going on there.
Was the first episode? Was that the one with the escaped convict?
That was the second episode.
That was the second one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
What was the first one again?
First one was about Aunt B.
Aunt B showing up. I wasn't big on that one, honestly.
He's all right.
He's okay.
I think it's important.
It's a lot better than this one, though.
Yeah.
It just was not good.
No.
1 out of 5. What would you rate this one?
Probably like a strong 3.5.
Really? I think that's what we gave the last one.
No, last one we didn't rate, I don't think.
Oh.
I think his rating system, you just thought it was completely new.
No, we ranked one of them.
Did we?
Yeah. I promise you now. I'd give this one a 2.
That's fair.
That's being too fair.
Yeah.
I ought to give it a 1. I'm going to be fair.
Or 2.
I'll be fair. I'm giving it a 2. I'm giving it 1, 2. Not 2 2s. 1. Jacob didn't want to do this episode. Like he didn't want to do a podcast on this episode. He thought, well, we just skip this one, but
because anybody that's a fan of the show can probably agree that this one just wasn't worth doing an episode on.
Not good.
You get no, because Andy Griffith, it's loose, but it has a linear timeline, and this just did nothing for the character building, for the universe building. You get nothing out of it.
Did nothing for Andy. Nothing for Barney. Aunt B was in it for a second.
To bring the food.
Opie kicked a guy.
Yes, his violent tendencies shown full force there.
I mean, do you ever see Jim again? I don't remember ever seeing Jim again. You don't see the Yankees again?
No.
I don't know. It just wasn't.
No.
It wasn't up with the other ones.
It didn't do the show justice.
If someone was new to Andy Griffith, and that was the first episode they'd ever seen,
wouldn't be a thing there for them.
No. I wouldn't blame him for not watching anymore.
Nope.
No Otis Campbell.
Not a single.
No Otis. Floyd the Barber.
Nope.
No Gomer or Goober Powell.
No. And I don't think you see the morgue owner there.
He was in it
I don't think you see him
after this episode?
in the show after the episode. I don't think you see him again.
I don't know.
Because there ain't a whole lot of dying in North Carolina, apparently.
I'm surprised this show didn't die after that episode, honestly. It's bad.
It wasn't good.
I mean, there's not really a lot to say about it.
No.
I'm very hopeful for the next ones.
I'm sure they'll be just fine.
Anything can beat this one. Anything can beat this one.
Yeah.
Did you ever was it Returning to Mayberry? Was that the
movie?
Was that the movie, or was that like a small show that they did?
I don't remember a small show. I remember the movie,
where they were older, a lot older.
Yeah.
Is that the one Aunt B didn't do?
I think so.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
I haven't watched that, which I feel bad about. I feel like if you're gonna do an Andy Griffith podcast, you ought to have knowledge about the whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the movie really didn't do anything with the core of the show.
I wonder if them fellas at the other Andy Griffith podcast, I wonder if they watched it.
Who cares?
Whoa! They sent me a message. They're nice guys.
I don't care.
You not talk to him?
No.
I only talked to him once.
I ain't had a reason to.
Golly. Nah, they got some mouths on them, though. They some foul-mouthed boys.
Can't be foul-mouthed talking about this.
I don't think you can either, but they are. But hey, just because it ain't for me, don't mean I can't respect them. Don't mean I gotta hate them. I support. I hope they do well. I hope they do well. I hope they have something similar in common with you. They like to talk about Ron Howard a lot.
Do they?
Yeah, I don't think they call out Opie directly, but they call out Ron Howard.
Ron Howard kind of deserves to be called out.
You think so? He made The Grinch.
Yeah, but
Did you know that?
Have you kept up with him recently?
I know he did Solo. Did he do anything?
Well, he's getting a lot of flack over that new. It's a Appalachian movie or something. He's getting a lot of flack over it.
What's it about?
I don't remember.
Ron Howard.
I just know it's got an Appalachian setting to it, but I think he's getting a lot of flack for it because he didn't properly convey the Appalachian like culture and stuff.
I ain't heard anything about. I have to look into that. We'll have to talk about that in the next one.
I think a big thing he's getting flack for is he didn't actually cast any Appalachian cast members.
Huh.
I think he just cast a bunch of people acting like they know about the area. I think that was a big thing.
Yeah.
I just very briefly skimmed over the whole thing. I don't really know a lot about it.
Yeah. I liked him as Opie, and I liked him when he got a little older and played Opie. And I liked The Grinch. And did you watch Solo? You a Star Wars guy?
No.
Oh, well, he did Solo, and it was pretty good.
I like Star Wars, but I haven't seen Solo.
It got a lot of hate. It was pretty good. I mean, you can't please everybody.
I think a lot of people said they just didn't need it. Like, it was a useless film.
It didn't. I don't think it added anything to the story, but it was fun to see it. It's fun to see the story. I don't think everything has to.
No.
Be perfect like this episode of Andy Griffith. This wasn't good. But
yeah, it didn't add anything. No point in it. It was just there.
Somebody enjoyed it. I'd say the fellas over at the other Andy Griffith podcast, they probably enjoyed this one.
Hey, if you guys hear this, let us know. Did you enjoy it?
Also, how you mama doing? How's your daddy?
Yeah, no one cares. Did you like the show?
Golly, that was rough, Jake.
No, I'm kidding. How's your mom?
How's your daddy? I'd reckon that wraps it up.
Yeah, nothing else to talk about.
Thoughts, prayers.
Hearts and minds clear.
I believe so, brother. All right. Thank you guys so much. This has been Fishin' Hole Andy Andy thing every Griffith Andy season, Andy episode. Thank you so much.